I'm going to talk you through how to add details to make your characterization stronger. So the key idea to take away here is that you're going to use TALES, T-A-L-E-S, to develop strong, well-rounded characters. And just as a reminder, TALES is what a character thinks, acts, looks like, their effect on others, and what they say. So I'm going to start off by giving you an example of weaker characterization. So this is a story about a soldier who is telling his mom that he is about to enlist. I take a deep breath and prepare to give my mother the news. Mom, I've decided to join up. I leave town in 2 weeks. She begins to cry and tells me not to leave. She tells me that she won't forgive me if I go to war. So this seems like a good moment in the story to get some characterization both of your soldier but also of his mom. But I think that there's a few things missing here. So I think that we could definitely bulk up kind of what happens before he tells his mom, thinking about how his mom's going to react to the news. Has she lost someone before? Is the character worried about telling her? And then I also think that after the big moment where he drops that bomb, I think we could do more with how the mom reacts. So, for instance, what did her face look like? How did she move? Did she do anything with her hands? What exactly did she do? What were her movements? And I also think that this is a good moment to actually add in the dialogue. So instead of saying, she tells me that she won't forgive me if I go to war, explain what the mom actually said. Use actual dialogue to do that, because that'll give us more insight into who the mother is. So stronger characterization of this piece would sound like this, and I've broken it up into two pieces. So I'm starting before the soldier actually tells his mom. My mind churns as I remember the day my older brother enlisted. My mother was devastated then. She wouldn't speak to anyone for a week after he left home, and she grew pale and gaunt with worry. I know I'm about to break her heart, but I take a deep breath and prepare to deliver the fatal blow. Mom, I've decided to join up. I leave town in 2 weeks. So I've added a few things to this characterization. First of all, I built up to the mother's reaction a lot more by kind of going through what the soldier is thinking about, what's going on in his head. And this shows what effect his mom has on him. I also decided to give a little bit of description about what his mom looked like, so I included pale and gaunt with worry to give the audience a better picture of his mom. So then after the soldier tells his mom, I added more to her reaction. Mom, I've decided to join up. I leave town in 2 weeks. My mother slowly turns from the sink, her long, delicate fingers paused in the process of drying a teacup, and then the teacup falls to the ground. Her warm brown eyes fill with tears, her knees buckle, and she collapses in a small heap on the kitchen floor. Jack, she begins unsteadily. Her voice, usually forceful and commanding, has petered out into a barely audible whisper. You couldn't possibly. So here, I've added a lot of details. I've kind of slowed down this big moment and expanded by adding in each of the mother's actions after hearing the news. So her turn and then explaining what her fingers look like and the fact that she drops the teacup and then she herself falls to the ground. Just sort of slows down the movements, but also shows us what the mom looks like and kind of what her effect on the soldier is. And then also I added more not only to her dialogue, but then also to how she's saying each thing. So she says, Jack, you couldn't possibly. But I also added that she was usually forceful and commanding, but now her voice was kind of barely audible. So that tells us a lot about who the mom is and kind of how much this is impacting her. So when you're thinking about your own drafts, when you're thinking about what you can add, the easiest thing you can do to improve your draft is to choose a character who's important to your soldier, who comes up in this piece of your draft, and pick a moment from your anecdote that kind of focuses on this relationship. So maybe a conversation that they have. And then you're going to think about what details you can add. So think about TALES. What is this character thinking about? What movements do they make? What do they look like? What effect does the character have on your soldier? Is there tension kind of between them? And then what does this character say specifically? So I think those details will give us a lot more insight into whatever character you're using.